So it looks like we're getting some new cool DC Multiverse stuff from McFarlane Toys, but are these new releases any good, and are they worth your money? Be sure you stick around, soulmates, because we're going to talk about what characters we want to see next from DC Multiverse. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. Well, the first new reveal we got from DC Multiverse, guys, was Gold Label Red Hood from Arkham Knight. This one is the Red Hood done in a monochromatic paint job. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but the sculpt on this one is pretty tight. It does look very much like the character from the video game. Now, I hope that maybe someday they're gonna do a regular version of this action figure, because it's such a good design, it seems a shame that it's not released in a standard paint job. I don't know, guys, I don't really go for these gimmicky type figures where they have these special paint jobs like Platinum release or Red release or whatever release. Really decent number of accessories on this one too, because it comes with the hands that have the trigger fingers on them, and if you get a weapons pack from McFarlane Toys website, you're gonna have some guns for this guy to play around with. I know that having to buy a separate weapons pack for their action figures is maybe not everyone's favorite thing, but really it's the best that McFarlane can do with the no guns mandate from Warner Brothers. Red Hood here also comes with some special effects, so that's really nice. They usually don't do that sort of thing with the DC Multiverse figures, so to see it here is a welcome addition, and I hope they consider doing more of it. Next up, we've got Scarecrow again from Arkham Knight. And this one is a really nice action figure. Like, the body sculpt on this one is outstanding. It looks just like Scarecrow does from the video game. Now, of course, he comes with another gimmicky paint job. This one is in an amber finish. And the major drawback of this action figure is that the head sculpt is not 100% accurate to what we see from Arkham Knight. Now, I wonder whether or not they had to tone down the look of Scarecrow from that game to get him on toy shelves or something, or whatever the deal was. Still, even though they changed his face from the video game, I do think he looks really cool, and I like this look on him. I actually like the amber finish on this one a lot better than I like the monochromatic red on Red Hood. Something about that amber color just works for me. This is another one that I hope they release a normal version of someday, and I hope if they do release one with normal colors that we're going to see a more accurate head sculpt on it. I am a lot more inclined to get this Scarecrow than Red Hood. I don't know if I want to get it right away though. I might wait for this one to go on sale because I'm not looking at it and saying, yeah, I gotta have it. He doesn't come with any accessories other than the base and trading card, but fortunately he has all the details that you see from the video game, sans his face. So if you don't mind the amber paint job on him and you think it's pretty cool like I do, he might be worth checking out, guys. Also, just want to mention that the hands look really good on him. He's got a fist where he's got the little needles that go on his gauntlet, and then the other hand has like this beckoning type hand. It looks really great on Scarecrow, so really nice action figure. The next DC Multiverse action figure that we're getting is a Lex Luthor Target exclusive. I have mixed feelings about this one because I'm kind of glad to see Lex Luthor in his Superman power suit. On the other hand, it's the same Lex Luthor head that we saw on the original Power Suit green and purple release. That one has the side eyes on it, and this one has the side eyes too, so that's a little bit of a knock against it because I'm not a big fan of the side eyes, although on Lex Luthor, I didn't mind them as much. The Lex Luthor head sculpt is really good, so you might not even notice that he has side eyes until you're looking at him up close. The other thing I don't really like about this release is that it's just reusing the Darkseid Lex Luthor body, and it's not the most accurate to what we see when Lex Luthor's wearing his Superman power suit. I mean, it has some similarities here and there, but honestly, there are so many differences that there's just too many to list here. I guess the most glaring differences are that There aren't as many red accents on this action figure as you see on the comic book version of him, and there's also some light-up special effects that are present on this action figure, but he has a few more on his comic book design. And it's strange to me that they didn't get those on this action figure, because they did have the time to put all this detail on this action figure. But when you look at the character from the comic book panel, he already has a lot of detail. It wouldn't have been much of a stretch to translate that into an action figure. And that design had so much detail on it that it would have provided all the texture that we've come to appreciate from McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse. Another thing I really don't care for are the hands, because they're kind of just open and they're just there. They're not really doing anything. It just feels like they need to be a fist, they need to be having some kind of action on one of the hands maybe, or even just both fists. As it is, it's just not very exciting to look at, and it doesn't seem to match up with all the detail that we see on the rest of the action figure. I want to like the cape, and I think that he does look decent with the cape. But without the red accents that go around his shoulders, it just feels like the cape is kinda tacked on. It's really too bad, because this is a release I want to be excited for, because Lex Luthor in the Superman power suit is such a cool design. But the way that they've done it here on this release, it just feels like they've done so much detail that they went overboard and they missed the big picture on the design. So I don't know, it's one that I might pick up on sale, but just looking at it right here, right now, I don't feel like I have to have it. It feels more like McFarlane Toys has gone out and done their own version of the costume instead of translating what we've seen from the comics and maybe adding a little something extra on top of it. The next one we're getting is the Martian Manhunter. This one is a gold label Target exclusive, and I really like this action figure. This is the Martian Manhunter that I think a lot of people have really wanted. He's finally here, and well, what can you really say? He's a pretty good looking Martian Manhunter action figure. Looking up close on his legs, you can really see the texture of the skin, and that's present all over the exposed parts of his body, but everything else works together perfectly to make a pretty good Martian Manhunter action figure. I suspect this one is probably going to make a lot of people very happy, because I think a lot of people have wanted a classic Martian Manhunter, and here he is. Definitely one that I'm considering getting. I have to think about what I'm going to get versus what I'm not going to get, because, well, you can't buy everything, but this is definitely on my to-do list at the very least. And finally, the last DC Multiverse release that we're seeing of late is Owlman from the Starro wave. This one is yet another Target exclusive. We're seeing a lot of Target exclusives, but at least when we get those, they're fairly easy to get compared with other exclusives. Owlman is a strange one for me, because he looks pretty good in some pictures, and then in other pictures, he doesn't look as good. Now, because he's part of the Starro wave, and I'm already 2 action figures in, honestly, I'll probably still get him. But looking at him, it feels like maybe he needed some more detail on his upper torso, because it feels like there's not enough separation on all of his design elements. They feel like they're blending in a little too much, especially that owl emblem on his chest. It feels like it needs to stick out more. Looking at his photograph here, it seems like his abdominals are not really centered, and I wonder if we can twist his waist around enough to make it look centered, or whether it's just like that. And if that's the case, I'm not the biggest fan. Also, his belt looks off, so that's weird. I wonder why they would picture him like this, why they wouldn't want to put their best foot forward when they're showing off an action figure like this. The other elements on him look pretty good. The gloves look right, the texture of his costume looks really good, his legs look right, the boots don't feel like they're off kilter or anything, and his cape looks good. The segments look good with all the feather-like pieces that make up his cape. But man, whoever did the work on this action figure before the photo session was really mailing in the quality that day. It comes with 2 pieces of Starro, a couple of tentacles. Of course, they look just as gross as the other pieces. They came with Superwoman, and he comes with a baby Starro just like all the other action figures. Just the same as the others, the baby Starro piece attaches to the chest, not the face like some people have been saying. If I had to hazard a guess on how Owlman is going to look, he's probably going to look a lot better in the final product than what we're seeing from these images, because a lot of DC Multiverse action figures tend to look much better when you see them in person. Ultraman was exactly the same way, and I have a funny feeling that Owlman is going to be that way too. Well, now that we've seen these releases, what do we want to see from DC Multiverse next? Personally, I really want to see some more villains. I would love to see Brainiac for one. I feel like Brainiac is a character that we have to see eventually, but I would also love to see other villains too, like Vandal Savage for instance, or even Captain Cold. It would be great to see some more Flash enemies, or even Green Lantern enemies, to flesh out the DC Multiverse line, guys. Well, Soulmates, what do you think of these DC Multiverse reveals? Are these ones that you want for your collection? Are you gonna skip some of these, or do you like some more than others? Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys, and tell me what characters you want to see next in DC Multiverse. If you want to learn more about the Superwoman Starro Wave reveal, you can check out my Black Adam, Superwoman, and Superpowers video here.